I'm sitting next to one of my worm bins and I wanted to show you what I think is the easiest way to separate the worms from the castings. Let's take a look inside the bin. If you want to know how I actually made this worm bin, I will link you to that in this video. But this really is what it's all about. This is a lot of wonderful worm castings, and this is where I feed them on the right hand side, and this is where the finished castings are stored. So basically the way I do it is I dig to the bottom, and I did it this morning, that's why it's kind of difficult to see the worms. They've kind of all hidden and run away underneath, but basically the castings are at the bottom of the bin. So you want to scrape off the top layer and go to the bottom, and then you get this rich worm casting, which you then put into this bin. It normally is full of worms, but let me actually pull this bucket out and show you what's underneath here. So you can see there are a ton of worms that have crawled out of this bucket. And the reason why they've crawled out of the bucket is because the bucket has a bunch of holes around them. So when I put the bucket in here, I fill it up with castings, finished castings, and then I feed on the outside. The worms crawl out of the bucket and go into the place where there's food, and they leave the great castings behind. Okay, let's go ahead and give them some food scraps. Basically, I'm just going to dump this over here. Just like that, and now I'm going to cover it with some browns. I've got a bucket of straw and leaves and things. I just spread this over. Now once a week, or maybe once every couple of weeks or so, I do come and add some water to this so that all of this dry stuff gets nicely incorporated with the moisture, and the worms will work on all of that. And whenever I add food scraps, obviously that contains liquid as well. So really it's as simple as that. I've got this bucket full of rich castings that I can use in my garden.